morning. I'm recording this because, I don't know, it landed in my mind and it is really crazy. So I think about why there's the geoengineering and why they spray the sky and why it took me now almost 2 weeks to recover from a virus or flu that I got the day after surgery. Crazy. Okay. This is so crazy. So, in my theory, or what landed in my brain, we know this is an illusionary world, right? We know this is a dream state. This has nothing to do with God. God didn't create this. Only human man created it. God exists within us, so we bring down the God energy in this plane, right? So why is there this attempt to change the atmosphere in this illusionary world? And so it kind of came to me. It is really out there, but I know there's a lot of people who will be like, damn, that's right on. We have beings down here that may not be considered humans. We know this. Some of them are benevolent, some of them are aggressive, and they can only exist in this dream state. What does that mean? That when they die, they go nowhere. They just vanish. They are what an atheist would consider. It's someone, it just the existence of that person, I mean, if you want to call them that live thing no longer exists, disappears. There's no reincarnation. They don't believe in that. They can't believe in it because they are not connected with the Spirit of God. They don't have God within them. Only those of us, and if you want to be Christian, you can say, who have allowed Jesus Christ within you. I mean, you can say it like that. Or Buddhists who understand that it's all connected and we know this is a dream state and it's not real. I mean, every religion that has any kind of indication that we are connected to something bigger means you have the Holy Spirit, God energy, universal consciousness within you. And you know it because you feel it, because you can hear it. It's the things that protect you in this illusionary realm. And also, it's the things that allow you to create. It allows you to create in this illusionary realm. But those creatures, we'll call them, they're only in existence because of fear that was placed into the minds of people down here to create them. This is an amazing place. We can create the most beautiful things and the most horrendous things, right? So we've given life to this negativity, whether it's the government, whether it's beings, whether it's creatures, whatever. We've given life to the negativity that exists in this world. It doesn't have to. If we don't give it life and we don't give it power and we're not fearful of it, it can't hurt us. I think that freaks people out because, like, how can you not be offended by anything? How can nothing bothers you? Because I'm like, because you're not real. This isn't real. I mean, the body experienced this, but this is not real. So nothing offends me. I can still be happy regardless of any situation. It's not 100%. I'm not 100%. It vacillates in and out, but I would say I sit pretty much in the 85 to 90%, and on bad days I'm 60%. On really bad days, and not that often, I've dropped down to 40% of happiness, but I try to still keep it up there. You know, some people just wallow in this because they think that's all there is. So let's assume that these, if my theory is correct, these aggressive beings want to continue to live in this illusion. We've heard that these things have to live off the human blood. Well, why would that be? Well, let's think about it. If we scientifically, take a guess, make a theory on it, our blood is connected to Christ, God energy, Holy Spirit. So of course they want to eat that. That gives them power to exist in this realm. Only because we've allowed them the power to exist because we believed in the negativity and the creatures down here. So they want to make it where it's easier for them to live in this realm, which means they want to change the dream state that we're in by manipulating the weather, manipulating the money, letting us, be in fear that we will never have enough money, we'll never have enough, we'll never have shelter. And there's some people that have really believed this, and they're in that area. They're homeless, they have no food. And what I have always heard from God, from probably the time I was born, is you always have shelter and you always be fed. And I'm like, great, that's all I need. As long as I'm fed and taken care of and I have shelter, I'm great. So once you know that, you have no fear because you're connected with the Holy Spirit, nothing can harm you. And you take back your power. So these creatures are trying to manipulate this place. And then I thought, I'm like, well, what's the outcome going to be? You know, I kind of like go through this little journey in my mind. Let's say that they can. Let's say that they make this place into the nightmare state. We feel it's a nightmare. They feel it would be a comfortable living situation. Okay. They've changed the atmosphere. There's no longer the sun. Things aren't growing. They don't need to live off food. These creatures live off the power of us, the energy within us. So let's assume that this all works. Eventually, as a result of this, the human beings who live down here, their physical bodies will no longer be able to exist in that realm. So what will happen? They will ascend, or, as most of you say, will die. But it's not really death, because you know you ascend to the place where you know is home. You go back to God. And so eventually all of the things that they're living off of, the people, the energy, the living force energy, will be depleted. And I'm like, so what are they going to do then? Because they don't seem to think long term. And a lot of people in this world don't seem to think long term. Like, let's project what is possible in the future, the good, the bad, and the neutral, so that we have some sort of, you know, accurate indication of what we need to be prepared for. But they don't think like this. And this concept of not thinking for the future has trickled into everything in our life, right? I mean, you've seen it. So they're not thinking that, let's say, a large portion of the population is gone, and then no longer do they have anything to feed off of. And I'm like, well, what will they do then? They're going to realize that we're not able to reproduce, so we can't produce their babies. We're not, you know, the abortion clinics are going to be gone because no one's getting pregnant anymore. They're not going to be able to do the, what is it called, child trafficking anymore, because there'll be no more children. And then they're going to run out of the life force to live off of. And then I thought, what would be next? Oh, they're cloning things. Right. Okay, so we're going down the matrix with this, which is really weird, right? There's some truth in that movie. So now let's assume that the beings that want to stay in this illusionary realm, the negative beings, start cloning people. And I'm like, well, how long is that going to work out? Because cloning is not giving the life force energy. You can clone as many creatures as you want, but they are not born with the spirit of God within them. They're a clone. So to me, that blood is, in a sense, stale. So they start cloning things. You know, I'm going way down the line with this. And they start feeding off of these cloned creatures, humans, or animals or whatever, and they're going to get sick, because the only reason why they're surviving right now is because our energy and our belief in them allows them to survive. And so I'm watching this kind of in my mind. Don't worry, I'm an artist. It gets that weird. And I'm watching this story kind of go down, and I'm like, in the end, they're causing their own demise. They're trying to make this place where they can live on it successfully without the humans interfering, but still using the human life force to feed them and give them energy. And all while this is happening, they're actually, in the end, kind of creating their grave for themselves. They're actually going down the line, or, you know, going down the road that's going to cause them to be dead in the first place. So we have the ability right now to change this, and it's very easy. All we have to do to change this is stop believing the negativity. Stop believing that the government has all the power, the people in the government are controlling us. Stop believing that. Stop believing that you're going to get sick. And if you do get sick, just know that you're going to get healthy, and that just ride it out. You'll be healthy in no time. Stop believing that anything can harm you. No longer give power to the negative stuff. And I'm dealing with it at the school I work with. You know, I've got some individuals there that, let's just say, they have swung in the wrong direction and they're pretty negative. Okay, whatever. I just kind of smile and laugh, you know, and I don't even take it seriously, because I know that that's their journey that they're dealing with, and it doesn't need to bother me. You can always be happy and joyful regardless of the situation. And it's tough sometimes. I mean, I'm not telling you it's easy. Sometimes it's pretty bad, and you have to literally go out and do something that's going to make you happy, or talk to someone. Poor mom, she hears it all the time. But then I'm like, wait a second, okay, I've gotten it out, I've talked about why I'm unhappy, let me go back to being happy. And so as long as you can always remember, what I do is I'm like, I'm connected to God. I'm connected to God, and thank goodness I met Margie, who is writing the book One for God, because it just reminded me I am a son or daughter of God energy, God, the unity, love, consciousness. And I'm down here just going through this journey. It's a play. The whole thing is scripted out, and nothing can harm me. And the worst that happens is death, and that's not even the worst that happens. My mom knows I have never been afraid of death. I've died and come back several times already in this body. And so for me, I'm like, whatever. I'm just going back home. If I die, I let go of this illusionary world and I go back to God energy. If you can live that way every day, every moment, I should say, because time is an illusion. If you can live every day in that moment to just know you are connected with the Holy Spirit, you don't need someone to love you or make you happy. You do it for yourself. You can find that in you, and nothing can harm you. You know, watch all the crazy stuff. Watch all the negativity on the news. Let the people that you work with do negative stuff with you, and just kind of look at it and laugh and just be like, wow, that's a really cool part of this scripted play. Ha ha ha. Fast forward to the better section of it. And just know that you are completely safe. And you have always, if you have any sort of spiritual connection with God, love, unity, consciousness, you're safe. You always will be safe. And I don't care how sick you are, you still will be safe, okay? I know it sounds weird because you have people that you're like, well, I've got cancer. I'm like, hey, cancer is an illusion too. It completely is. And I can tell you, you can look up plenty of books right now for people who have healed cancer just by mentally saying, I don't have cancer. So it's just the power of your mind. Your mind is what is believing in the illusion. And I'm not talking about the mind and the head. It's the power of the mind and the heart. And yes, we do have brain muscles in our heart. So meditate, pray, read a book, whatever you need to do to get into that space. Because when you think from the mind, from the actual cells that are brain cells in your heart, the mind muscle in your heart, then you're living in true God consciousness. Okay, sorry, I know it's crazy, my little rant this morning, but sometimes when I wake up, this is the message I have, so I thought I would share it because it's pretty out there. Aloha from Maui, Hawaii.